Okay, I have a couple interview questions for you today. So we're going to start with number 1. Can you explain what homeostasis is and give me an example of how the human body maintains it?
Okay, so homeostasis is when our body just tries its best to balance, keep everything balanced, like all the organs and all the things it's supposed to do. And so it's basically keeping all the internal stuff in balance and in check. So you could say that your body temperature maybe. So like if it's super cold outside and you go outside and it's freezing out there, but your body will find a way to increase the temperature so that it creates and maintains homeostasis.
Great, thank you. Number 2, can you tell me what a negative feedback mechanism is? And if you can, tell me an example of this type of mechanism.
So when it's negative, that's basically, I like to think about it like it does the opposite. So when your body can detect like a change that's happening, like the body temperature, it actually responds by doing the reverse of that. So it tries to change things back to normal. So if your body temperature, let's do the opposite. If it's rising, then your body will like sweat to cool down. And so then that would actually drop your body temperature. Or if it is cold, then you might shiver to warm it up.
Good. Number 3, if a person is exercising on a hot day outside, how do you think their body would respond in order to maintain that homeostasis?
Well, whenever the body's exerting energy, it's gonna, the body temperature is gonna increase. But, and especially if it's hot outside, then when you start to do that, then your sweat glands will release some sweat. And as that is like liquid on your skin, as it evaporates, it will start to cool you down. So those blood vessels that are near the skin there, they actually get like bigger, or they dilate, and so which allows more heat to escape. And so that's the way it tries to maintain, balance.
Okay, so if you were to graph someone's body temperature during that exercise, what would that look like on the graph, and how would you interpret this?
So on the graph, I think your body temperature would start out normal, and then as you exert some energy, then that body temperature is going to rise at first during the exercise. But then as homeostasis starts to kick in, and even through that feedback system, then the body temperature will start to come down, or it will basically stabilize. And so then it will maintain, basically what your normal body temperature would be. So, interpreting that, I guess you would just say your body has a cooling mechanism, and it has a way to heat up if it needs to increase body temperature.
Awesome. Number 5, we see that hydration drinks advertised on TV like Gatorade or Propel. Do you think that this is a better way to hydrate than water? Why or why not?
I think at first, if you're just doing short-term exercise, and if hydration is something that is a priority, for the person exercising, then water is typically all that you need. But if you are in a situation like we were thinking about earlier, and you're exercising outside and it's hot and you're doing a lot of sweating, then your body is losing lots of sodium. And so that could really start to throw things off, affecting potassium levels and things like that. So if the person is going to be sweating like profusely or for long periods of time, or like an endurance situation, then I think a sports drink that basically has real sugar in it, because the corn syrup and that sort of thing can actually, it's just not healthy for your body, because it can mess things up for homeostasis.
Good. Number 6, can you tell me how blood sugar is maintained by homeostasis?
So after you eat something, and again, there's energy that's there. Your blood sugar is going to rise, but to be able to keep it from, getting too high or rising too high, then our pancreas will excrete some insulin, and insulin helps the body to absorb that glucose or the extra glucose, and when it does that, then it can lower the blood sugar. But if it's the opposite and blood sugar drops, then the pancreas is not going to release insulin, it's going to release glucagon. And then that tells the liver, because the liver will store some glucose in it, and it will tell the liver to release that glucose so it can get in the bloodstream and raise the blood sugar to a healthy range.
Good. So, talking about blood sugar, can you give me a scenario where blood sugar might drop, and how could that be corrected?
Well, blood sugar can drop if someone is fasting, like if someone is just not eating, or they haven't, eaten for a long period of time, then the blood sugar will drop as a result of that, because there's nothing there to digest or for the insulin, to release. So, when the body releases glucagon that way to bring the glucose back into the blood, but sometimes there comes a point where, that might be exhausted as well. So, some symptoms or whatever, your body might start to shake. People get a really horrible headache. So your body gives signals to say, hey, people get nauseous, and so those are all just signs to say, hey, you need to do something here because I'm not able to maintain homeostasis now.
Yes. So, what are some ways this could be corrected?
Well, the person would need to eat, but if they needed to get their blood sugar up quickly, then you would have something that's easily digestible. So like some orange juice that's very high in sugar, and your body can digest it very quickly. So that goes ahead and gets sugar into the system, and that would actually raise the blood sugar.
Awesome. So, can you give me an example of someone who may not be able to maintain a healthy blood sugar, and what are those options for them?
So if someone is, let's say, a type 1 diabetic, that means that their body, their pancreas does not secrete insulin, or it might secrete it, but it wouldn't be enough, and so it's not adequate. And so because of that, that person would actually have to inject themselves with insulin to be able to control the blood sugar. So that person would monitor their blood sugar and then administer typically the amount of insulin that they need to be able to cover that blood sugar. So then the body would actually return to homeostasis with a little bit of extra help.
Good. Can you tell me why homeostasis is so important?
If we don't maintain homeostasis, then the cells just can't function properly. And so if the cells aren't functioning properly, then the enzymes in your body stop working. If the enzymes stop working, then organs start to fail. And ultimately, the body just can't survive.
Yes. Is negative feedback the only mechanism for maintaining homeostasis? If it's not, can you give me an example of another feedback mechanism?
Well, there is a positive, so there's a positive feedback system, and so that basically just kind of amplifies or makes what's already happening. It wants to change that instead, or work with that, or change it instead of reversing it. So for example, we just had a baby, a grandchild, and so when the uterus starts making oxytocin, then oxytocin it makes the uterus to contract, and then the more the uterus contracts, the more oxytocin that is made in your body. So then the labor starts to get harder and stronger and longer, which is the normal process. So the body is actually working with it instead of the opposite, if that makes sense.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your input into our interview.